Hey, you guys, it's Resurrection Sunday. Peacemaker here. Sorry about the lighting if it's a little off. I could always try to fix that real quick, but we'll find out. Maybe during worship. We're about to have a little service, a little two so far videos that are special. This one's going to go into the Peacemakers Bible Basics category or series, and the next one's going to be a special Angel of the Lord edition, where we go through some more evidence of Jesus being the angel of the Lord and seeing after his resurrection, hence the theme, his ascension and what it means in a new way. And maybe what happened after. That would be cool. What happened after. I won't leave that till the book of Psalms. We'll go through that probably today then too. So tune into that, please. I'll post both of these as soon as I get them done. It's like 7 in the morning, so I mean, you guys should probably have them by 9, hopefully. It'll be like we had church. A very metal church, by the way. Obviously, it's me, man. We got to do some metal, okay? So let me hit this screen share up. Let me pull up some music, and we'll go ahead and get going on it, guys. Excuse me. The band is called In the Midst of Lions. I love them to death. The song is called Defiance, and boy, is it convicting. So hold on to your pants, y'all. Here we go. Let me throw this up here. I can't see me or you anymore, so I'm going to have to flip back and forth and see if I can. Ooh. Where the lyrics line up, and I'm going to also have to stop periodically. And that's not what I wanted to do. I just messed it all up. Hey, we're back. So I'm going to have to stop periodically, guys, to make sure I don't get basically banned. Let me put it down a little further. There we go. Screen. Whee! Here we go, guys. Of a living God. He's not the same as the gods of idols or the idols that we make. By the way, I got my daily cup of infidel. That's right. Some coffee. You can thank history for that, as well as William Federer or Bill Federer taught me about the Battle of Vienna in 1682, where the Muslims surround Vienna, and their whole plot's foiled by one baker who's faithful with like, hey, what's that noise? Point being, though, is they end up fleeing, and all the Muslims leave behind beans in their tents, and they're like, what in the world is this? Well, it turns out it was a new drink that allowed the Muslims to fight so long and hard because it was caffeinated, right? They actually found somebody eventually who taught them how to roast the bean and then to make coffee. Which, by the way, the word coffee, our word coffee, is derivative, I believe, of a Turkish word kahve, which is derivative of an Arabic word kafir, or kafir, which is a bad word. So sorry about that on Easter Sunday. I'm pretty sure, but the point is that's also infidel. So that's why I say daily cup of infidel. And thank our God for his character and not like Allah, not being like Allah. Duplicitous, creates evil, schemes against man. By the way, today is a Resurrection Sunday, so if the Quran is correct and Jesus didn't die on the cross, but it only seemed to them like he did, then Allah successfully started the biggest religion in the history of the world, falsely. So I think that probably puts him in the category somehow of being of at least shirk, which is the unforgivable sin, right? To associate anything with God that is not God. Good job, Allah. You just imploded yourself. revealed in your presence, O Lord. I just want to make sure I was still recording. Sorry, guys. I had a revelation about this yesterday. In Genesis 15, Abraham is told that I am your shield when God appears to him and shows him that he's going to be a great nation and all this other stuff. Jesus, by the way. But that's where that phrase shield comes from, right? But this is a worthless shield, right? So don't get that confused. That's not what I'm saying. God is the worthy shield. And God is our shield. There's a verse in Proverbs in my reading yesterday that talks about if you are slothful or if you are lazy or if you don't want to work, which, by the way, communists, watch out, that poverty is going to overtake you like a robber or like a man with a shield, it says in the text. Because that's bad news bears. In the ancient world, some dude with a shield shows up, you're like, oh, man. Because A, he's probably trained to use that shield, and B, it's like, this guy doesn't just have normal defenses, like he's got a shield too. It's like, oh, man, right? Well, God is our shield like that. And for the first time yesterday, I put two and two together. That not only is he our shield, but he's behind our shield. And we are behind him. Isn't that cool? Ah. He's crying out. I am here. Romans chapter 1 if you want some more homework. And if you did the last homework, thank you. I know who you are. You know who you are. I appreciate it. That's going to come in handy because we're going to talk about that today a little bit in this Genesis portion. He does not fight fair. So if you think you're in a fair fight, you are misled. The devil is filling your heads with lies that you don't even know about. Can I just say I miss this band? Sam Printer, come on, man. Get it together again, please. And or pinch harmonics, brother. In the Machine, the song called The Machine, dude, I don't even know how you did that. Like, how you guys even got those pinch harmonics, bro. I can't even do one. I know I'm a drummer by trade, so it makes sense, right? I just hit stuff. But as somebody who plays three instruments, dude, it's like, how did you do that? Ugh. For those who want to know, look up In the Midst of Lions. Go to the song called On the Heart of Man, same album, called The Machine. Squealies is what I call them, right? They're really high notes, that they're harmonic notes, but you pinch them just such that they're really loud and amazing. And it's like, whoa, how did he do that? Point being is it's really hard to do. And I can't figure it out. So if you ever want to give me lessons, Sam, I'm not going to turn you down. See, lessons, like sweet picking. Sweet picking's another thing. I can't do that. Like, what? This is what I wanted to draw attention to, guys. This is it. This is it. This is it. Don't miss this part.
You never cared, you never turned your head as I begged beneath pointing, crooked fingers attached to crooked, faithless men. I'm consumed by your anger, terrified by your rage, love and grace. What a beautiful revelation in relation to the patience you practice towards the sin that you hate. This is the message that I proclaim.
Amen.
Kiss the Son, because the day will come that you perish from the way. You're toying with the flint that starts to spark, to turn into the fire and fan the flames. I could have been.
God could have been Jesus.
You're a escape. I am, but the devil does not fight fair. You sweep people away like dreams that disappear. I am, but the devil does not fight fair.
There it is, you guys. How's that for a worship service? Some of you are probably like, oh my gosh, what just happened in here? Metal's awesome. I think metal's awesome. I mean, look at those lyrics. Those are intense lyrics. Some very heavy theological things going on there. Oh, now it's almost too bright. When the sun comes out, look at that. Oh, I got to show you guys this too. Look at springtime in the up in the Rockies. Ready? A chicka pow. Oh yeah, can you see all that stuff? That white stuff? What's that? Is that snow up in there? Oh, it's snowing up in here. Huh. I often joke with my friends from California and Texas and say, what postcard did you guys see? It didn't have snow on it. Like, learn how to drive. Oh God! At least in the snow. I mean, come on. This is Colorado. This is spring in Colorado. Anyway. So anyway, guys, we got that out of the way. Let's get into our text, eh? We're gonna be in Genesis again. I'm sorry that I didn't pull this up beforehand so I could be extra uber ready. But I wasn't even sure I was gonna do that song. I actually was gonna do a different one called The Machine, right? But I ended up changing my mind last minute. So let me grab Genesis for us, and I'll bring it up so that you guys can see too. I'm going to be really good at filler talk by the end of this type of thing instead of rambling on. Here we are. Boom. Boom. Let's get rid of that and put this up. Yep, there she is. Boop. Still recording. We're doing good. Screen share. It just put me back up for some silly reason. All right, put me back down. Jeez Louise. I mean, that's not what I meant to do. I just made the screen kind of small. Oops. All right, screen's full screen. Me. There we go. Sorry, guys, technical problems. Oh, did it again. Ha. Ha. There we go. Now you see that I got me. Sorry, guys. Again, technical problems. I'm still learning how to do the software, but I think I've got it down. I'm going to be really small today just to make sure you guys can see that text, okay? Then I'm going to put myself up in here. Or up so that you guys aren't like looking down to try to see me. Might be easier on your necks. I am a massage therapist. Ergonomics is my thing. So that might help you out. Let's see here. Boop. Hey. Hopefully you can see that. So again, this is the Bible Basics class. So we're starting in Genesis and we're just going through the whole Bible. And thank you for your feedback. A couple of you have said already that you've really enjoyed it. We went for the first two verses and it felt a lot more complete. So that's good. I'm going to try to complete every thought as I have it, okay? And secondly, really quick before I jump into that, let me zoop. Whoa. Check this out, guys. I'm wearing a shirt. Oof. Well, let me push it down. Zoop. Here's my shirt today. Convictions. I'll give you a little history lesson. You see this on this upside down cross, right? Well, here, let me show you this. Wow. Zoop. On the back, it says, if you can see that, I am unworthy. St. Peter. St. Peter. So by tradition, or by church tradition, wow, woo, I hope that don't get me banned. But by church tradition, he was crucified upside down because he felt unworthy to be crucified right side up like his Lord. I bring that up just because today is Resurrection Sunday, and what an interesting conviction to have, yeah? Also, Convictions, the band, which is this is their shirt. Go check them out. There's a plug. But what are your convictions? I want to challenge you as we go through some of this. What are your deeply held assumptions? What are your convictions? What is it that you don't want to give up? What is it that you would have to give up in order to believe something like this? Right? Because I'll assure you this is the truth. It has to be. Otherwise, there is no such thing as truth. I promise you that. I've searched far and wide. I couldn't find a truth other than God. And that doesn't get us to the Christian God, but it does get us to a creator. And from there, it is about figuring out who is God. Okay. So anyway, we're not quite there yet. We just got the creation out of the way of the heavens and the earth. Yesterday we saw the earth was without form and void. Darkness was on the face of the deep. The Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And I tried to liken that to our lives. That these waters of turmoil or chaos, or maybe even just still waters, depending, with a little bit of brooding over them, ripples. I always imagined it that way, is largely God's love, his excitement to create, his excitement to create life, right? Because as of now, we just have an earth and the heavens. So anyway, let's get to verse 3 and a couple more, okay? Then God said, let there be light, and there was light. Amen. There's a verse in, it's either Psalms or Isaiah, but it talks about how it's in Psalms. It's in Psalms, the latter portion of Psalms. Let me see if I can just pull that up really quick, because that'll bless you guys too. I might have to DuckDuckGo it. We'll see. Some of these Bible search features on Bible apps are not very good, which, by the way, there you go. See. So Bible Gateway, this is a good lesson. Bible, Blue Letter Bible, they're just very, very specific. So if you don't know the text, sometimes doing just a random search is not as efficient as you'd hope. So let me DuckDuckGo it. Pow. Yep, there you go. Same to him. Boom. Here we go. Psalm 139, verse 12. You're like, how did he know is the latter part of Psalms? Because I just got done reading them a little while back. So now that I got the reference, however, I don't mind Bible Hub, which is the site that this is on. Whatever, Psalm 139:12. I know what it is. Let's put it in here. I don't like the way the mechanics of that works just for teaching off of. It's fine as a study tool, I guess. Kind of like Blue Letter Bible. Well, let's see if I got it right, huh? Psalm 139:12. I always have, I always have Bible dyslexia where I mix up numbers and stuff. So it's like Psalm 112 verse 39. It's like, no, that's not it. There you go. Boom. Indeed, the darkness shall not hide from you, but the night shines as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to you. Speaking of God here. So let's hike it back up. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, that was it. Oops. There we are. The darkness and the light are the same to him. That speaks of his knowledge. That speaks of his pre-existence. That speaks of his all-encompassing nature. So that means his pre-existence means he was before everything else. He's the creator. His omniscience means he knows all things. And his encumbrance, if you will, would kind of be like his omnipresence. He's everywhere at all times, which our little brains, pea brains, don't really have that ability to comprehend. But that's a good thing you should know too. Just because our little 3-pound pea brain can't really fit it in our heads does not mean it's not true. Let me say that again with me up here. Just because we can't comprehend God in our little pea brain does not mean that God is not real or true. Matter of fact, I think it points to the opposite. Because if you could fit and plumb the depths of what it means to be God in your 3-pound brain, isn't that an evidence against whatever you think is God? Isn't he not even transcendent beyond us? Okay? So Muslims have a real problem with this because basically God's just like us but bigger. Fail. Fail, fail, fail. And Allah cannot be love. Just saying. There's nobody to love before creation was there. So God needs us. Which, by the way, if we're in Acts 17, let's go through that real quick because it also debunks that there. So let me hop over. You did homework yesterday. Kudos to you. We're in Acts real quick. Acts chapter 17. Paul over at the, what was it called? The Acropolis? Excuse me. Areopagus. Okay. Areopagus was just, I believe, a place where a lot of philosophers used to meet, right? And theologians, presumably. Men of Athens, I perceive in all things you're very religious, and you're passing as I was passing through, considering the objects of your worship, I even found this altar with this inscription: the unknown God. Watch Paul turn it around on him. Therefore, the one whom you worship without knowing, him I proclaim to you, God who made the world and everything in it, since he is the Lord, and heaven and earth, does not dwell in temples made with hands, nor is he worshipped with men's hands as though he needed anything. As though he needed anything. Verse 25. So that's another good key, is if you're really worshiping God, you'll realize you need stuff from him, not the other way around. Like, he doesn't need you to pray. He doesn't need you to do anything. You need him. And that's why you should pray. That's why you should seek his face. Since he gives life and breath to all things. There's God. Amen. And he has made from one blood every nation of men to dwell on the face of the earth. This is why, you guys, I'm going to have to hit up a couple different tabs. Let me pull up Genesis in a different tab. Let me pull this up in a different tab real quick, okay? Because I keep switching back and forth and it's going to mess everything up. Oops, that was it. All right, so we are over here. This is where we were. We haven't gotten to the rest of it yet. And Bible Gateway. What did I just do with my life? Bible Gateway. Come on, Bible Gateway. Oh, no. They're all going to laugh at me. Let me get out of this mode. Sorry, guys. There we go. Like, seriously, go to Bible Gateway. Thank you. Oop. All right. Sorry, guys. Multiple tabs, as you can see here, is what I'm doing. Boop. I just get rid of that because it's kind of distracting, right? That's F11, by the way, if you have a Microsoft. So yeah, we're talking about the light. Paul is addressing these people in the Areopagus right there. Areopagus, which is a place. And he's telling them, look, you guys even had an altar to God you don't even know about. And you know don't know him. What a telling thing in Romans chapter 1. That's kind of Paul's whole argument, right? Is that we know a fake God when we see one, or we know what? We know when we're in idolatry, or when something can't save us, right? Like that's kind of Jeremiah's point as well to the Christmas idea, or season. Excuse me as I take a drink. There's Jeremiah 10 says, don't hack down a tree and bring it into your house and deck it, right? And it's not about Christmas necessarily. I'm not going to get you out of the box and say it's not either, okay? But first off, in context, it isn't. It is about idols. Because you see, as they chop down this tree or whatever, they bring it home, and like part of it, they make into this little statue of an idol, right? And then basically Jeremiah was making fun of that. He's like, look, you cut half of it off and make it God, and you put the other half in the fire to keep you warm, right? And he's making fun of the idea that we worship creation, not the Creator. Romans chapter 1. Well, here's a problem though, because the Creator says He makes all things, right? We saw that yesterday. Boom. We'll do some Calvinism stuff too here. We'll see if that predetermined there, pre-appointed times and all that, and boundaries determined. Determinism's in the text. See, Justin, it says determined. Well, we believe in predetermination too. We just don't believe it's the same thing as what you mean by it. Calvinists often have the same vocabulary in a different dictionary. So when they hear has determined the pre-appointed times and boundaries of their dwellings, the Calvinists hear God made them in such a fashion as they could not have. Well, He made them where He made them, first off, which is in their mother's womb, and then He made them to dwell where He wanted them to dwell, which isn't wrong, right? Like that's kind of the sentiment of the text. However, the other thing that is wrong is that He does everything that they ever do, right? Meaning that before they were good, before the general rule of thumb with Romans chapter 9 is if you end up with a narrowing of God's grace instead of a broadening of God's grace, I'm pretty sure you've got the wrong interpretation. Jacob I've loved, Esau I've hated. I believe that's chapter 9, verse 13. And it goes all the way to 20 and beyond, basically. But the idea there is that before they ever did anything good or bad, there's two nations, I believe, in view. Also, they're individuals. Individuals make up nations, yes. But the whole idea there, not to get off subject, I promise I'm coming right back, is that when we have one that is unconditionally loved and the other that is unconditionally hated, and you take that to mean salvation, like salvifically loved or salvifically presumably hated, that is both effects of the same action of election. So if your God chooses who's going to be saved, He's choosing who's not going to be saved. That's the only consistent reading of the text. I just want to push my Calvinists, my compatibilists, because you want to say, like today, God passes over the unelect. Well, first off, Passover was supposed to be a salvific. So if you were passed over, you were actually saved. So the whole thing breaks down on that level, and also on the level that the Good Samaritan is the only one that doesn't pass by his enemies. That's a picture of godly people. And that is, are we more pious than our God? Like He passes by His enemies, but we are not supposed to pass by our enemies? So there's some big problems there. So don't get me started on that. Everybody knows, they're like, shut up, stop talking about Calvinism. And I'm like, well, tit for tat. They like to push us. I'm going to push back. But the most important of this verse for our Genesis study is this. He made from one blood. Ooh, geez. I don't even know what this tool is. Can I move it? Oh, man. Sorry, guys. Trial and error. Made from one blood every nation of men to dwell on the face of the earth. What does that say? What does that say? That says that evolution cannot be true. At least in the sense of maybe proto-races. So guess what that does to racism? Bye-bye racism. There's one human race. There's one blood that every nation of men, no matter what your skin color, your melanin count, we're all one on the face of the earth. So get that through your heads, racists. Okay, let me push back on you. I know you always say there's nobody out there that's racist. Horse crap. There's a lot of people out there that are racist, and I'm sorry for the language if that's offensive to you. But it's garbage. I've known racist people. Okay? So here's the problem with that. All men are created equal, says our Constitution. And our founding fathers were pushing towards that. And yeah, they hit boundaries, and yeah, they hit blockers, and yeah, there was a few of them that didn't necessarily push too hard. And yeah, there was others that did. I'm just trying to tell you guys to be consistent with your history as well. But if God made every nation, all men, of one blood, which we call that in science mitochondrial Eve, because your mitochondria has a specific DNA and we're all linked to the same woman. So science is proving God, not disproving God, constantly. Even though the funny part is they're usually trying to disprove God to some degree. Like, we know how this works. Oh, wait, the DNA is super complicated. But the point is blood speaks of lineage. And that's the point. Okay. If that's true, are the Jews inferior? Should the Holocaust have happened? No. How about slavery? Thank you, Islam, by the way, for slavery in the capacity that we know it today, not in the institution. That goes way back, right? Like, we even see that in the Exodus, right? The freedom from the idea of slavery is not only proto Israel. Okay, Israel, Leviticus chapter 25 is the first nation to ban it. Chattel slavery, slavery as far as debt and as far as a societal usage, is not banned or isn't whatever, but it also says you won't mistreat your brother. You can't whip him to death. Okay? And I know people try to wiggle out of that by saying the brother, so it means an Israelite. And the rest of them are just property. It's like, well, yes and no. First, I'll keep context, because in context, in Leviticus, is there going to be folks that are in the nation of Israel that are not of the nation of Israel? Yes. We know because this is a foresight thing with God, because they're not there yet. And this is where we are in the Angel of the Lord study. We'll pick up like Judges, I think it is, or Joshua. We're Joshua, I think. We're in there. But the point is when they go in to possess the land, and I promise I'm circling back around again, so please don't run away or pause and then forget about me. But when they go in the land, what happens is you have these people groups that are going to be there, and they're supposed to wipe them out. It's actually an act of mercy to say, no, you can keep them as a permanent kind of fixture slave. Which, by the way, it doesn't say anywhere that you can still mistreat them. So that would be reading something into the text that isn't there. We call that eisegesis, as opposed to exegesis, taking it from the text. Like, from the text, the last sentiment I think you had was something to the effect of, don't abuse your brother. To which Jesus, by the way, also applies brother or neighbor in a broader context. We see that in the parable of the Good Samaritan. Circling back around, I'm so sorry for that rabbit trail. Go back and listen to it. I hope it blesses you once you understand it. But this is really important, because guess what doesn't happen? Racial genocide. Okay? It doesn't happen if you believe the Bible, or at least it's not afforded by the Bible. So there's some light for you. God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And he divided the light from the darkness. So he makes day and night. And he calls the light day and the darkness night. So even evening and morning were the first day. Ha-yom, I believe, in Hebrew. I don't know what first is, but the is ha and day is yom. And this is the funny part. So some people also try to wiggle out of this, or say that, like my friend who is more brilliant than I'll probably ever be, he's probably forgotten more science than I ever knew, Stephen Meyer, who's a intelligent design advocate and an older creationist. He would have to fit in here somewhere that there's long, vast periods of time, eons even, that started to exist, and the days were not real, literal days, and all that stuff. Let me just debunk that really quick. From my view, okay? In my view, we go to Exodus chapter 20, verse 11, I believe. Let's see if I'm right. If memory serves, y'all. Oops, my numlock wasn't on. 11. My numbskull was on. My numbskull was on, but not my numlock. Yeah. For in 6 days, how many is that? 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth and the sea and all that is in them, and rested on the 7th day. Therefore the Lord blessed and hallowed the Sabbath. He's giving all the 10 commandments in Exodus 20, and he reiterates this. He says 6 literal days. So I'm sorry, but 1,000 years as a day to the Lord does not get you out of this. That is saying he's timeless. That's not saying that time is useless to him, or he can't tell time. Right? We'll go to that verse really quick, just because that's another one they usually pull up. 1 Peter. Let me see if I can hit it up. Oh, let's do 1,000 days. Let's see. I'm gonna have to type. Yep. So sometimes, guys, that's another good lesson. 1,000 days. See, it doesn't like numbers either, by the way. Here we are. Oop. What just happened? Okay, that didn't come up. How about to the Lord? And now we'll hit up 1 Peter. This is going to be a lot more. Yeah, I know. How about topical index? What? They changed everything? Aha, filtered by. There it is over here. Filtered by. See that, guys? We're going to run down to 1 Peter. From a search, there's 6 references. Boop. Word of the Lord, of the Lord, of the Lord. It is 2 Peter. Probably 2 Peter then. See, like I said, I have dyslexia of the scriptureness. There it is. Okay, I think it was 2 Peter 3. Okay. Second epistle, where you come from, and man. Well, I don't know where that is, but let's take a second to read this. 2 Peter 3:9. So the Lord is not slack concerning his promise. By the way, a lot of people are like, hey, where is he at? It's been 2,000 years. He said soon. That's not very soon. As some count slackness or slowness. But rather, he's got a plan in this, right? He's not come back yet because he's waiting for something. Let's see what it is. He's patient towards us. What? Not willing that any should perish. Oh, so if he comes back, he's going to judge the earth and he ain't playing. It's a terrible thing to fall into the hands of a living God. It's a terrifying thing because he is just. I like what Paul Washer has to say on that really quick. Let me pull me up. Paul Washer says something that I think is good and I think you guys need to hear. In the spirit of Easter, or really of Passover. Ugh. So in the spirit of Passover, Paul Washer says something that's really good. He says, you have a problem. You know what your problem is? Sorry, guys. I just got out of the shower. Your problem is that God's good. And these people go, what? How is that a problem? Well, it's a problem because you're not. The thief has a problem when he runs into the cop, yeah? Mm-hmm. How about the murderer? Yeah, real problems. So, in a legal sense, we have a problem. That is that we're at odds with God. We told God that we thought we knew better, and we'll get to that in Genesis 3, and that we were going to disobey Him. And more than disobedience, we were going to throw everything into chaos by our disobedience. And God, unlike us, doesn't take that very lightly. He doesn't find that very funny because His people are dying. His creation is dying now. He didn't intend for that to be the only way or to be the way that He wanted it to go in His prescriptive will, if you want to use that term. I kind of shy away from Calvinist terms, but it makes a lot of sense here. Because He does have a will that He wills it to happen. And here's how we would answer some of that. C.S. Lewis says that my mom's going to make a guest appearance. We'll see. So when we have we would say, like C.S. Lewis said, in one sense, it's God's will that we don't do evil. Yes, completely. And in another sense, it's His will that we have a will to do what's right or wrong. Does that make any sense? So anyway, that's you want to make a guest appearance? No. That is messing with my mom. But anyway, guys, so yeah, that's how we would kind of use the term prescriptive will. Like He prescribes that you don't murder, okay? But sovereignly, He may allow you, by having a free will, to do something stupid and murder, okay? That's totally fits within our worldview. Now, under Calvinism, I don't understand how determinism doesn't make God the author and approver of transgression then. If He makes sure that that happens, so that it couldn't be otherwise. Just gonna throw a pushback out there, Calvinists. I love you very much. I hope you know that by now. But I do disagree with your systematic. Hall of Mirrors. Alright, guys. Let me just hit that up really quick because I can do it this way. 1,000 years is as a day to God. They didn't capitalize G. That really irks me. Oh, it was 2 Peter 3:8. We were right there. Let's go back. I don't believe them. 2 Peter 3:8. But beloved, do not forget this one thing that because I was looking for numbers. Remember? Yeah. All right. Letters. That with the Lord 1 day is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is 1 day. That's trying to tell you about God and how He's spaceless and timeless and immaterial. That's not telling you that time doesn't matter to Him or He doesn't work within time. That's a bad exegesis of that text, okay? So now we can lay that to rest. Yes, so He calls the day light day and the darkness night. Evening and morning were the first day. I think these are literal days, as if you hadn't picked up already. I think these are literal days. Let me pull myself up so we can chat a bit more. Excuse me. It's that cup of infidel. I tell you what, man, it'll give you the burps. Excuse me. But yeah, guys. I hope that encourages you. We got through verse 3, 4, and 5 today. Evening and morning were the first day. Oh boy, do we have a discussion coming next about the firmament and about a lot of things. Anyway, guys, I hope this has blessed you. I hope you continue to support me on Patreon and like and subscribe and all those things underneath here. Please, guys, help me spread the word. That's your part in this, right? Let me see if I can pull that up. I named my Patreon supporters a different name now. There was a couple terms that I was using. Oops, that's the right one. There was a couple terms that I was using, like coffee patrons and some other stuff. But now I've changed it because I liked Braxton Hunter's idea of giving your followers and supporters a name that's similar or cool to you. Like he has Trinity Radio, so he has Trinitarians. Cool. So anyway, this is Peacemakers, God's Peacemaker, right? At the moment, that's the name of the channel and the idea behind it. So I have Peace Minions is my first category. They usually give about 5 a month. So it's like having a cup of coffee. That's why I named it coffee at first. Infidel, I should have. No, sorry, I'm not trying to get you guys in trouble. Peace Minions, they give about $5 a month. I put Peace Seekers. I think that is a $10 a month pledge. Peace Sharers, which is 20, I want to say, or something, and then Peace Creators, because you guys, I mean, that fourth tier is just gonna blow my mind if anybody even goes there. So, but that's like $30 a month, and I would just be blown away by that. Um, so I put Peace Creators, right? Like you're literally helping me create any piece that I am creating. So, guys, thank you so much. Be encouraged today that He is risen. He's risen indeed. Um, and yeah, tune into the Angel of the Lord study next. I gotta get that video up too today, because it's a special themed version, right? Just like today was of a themed version of Bible Basics. Cool, guys. I'll talk to you later. Peace.